This postal vote by mail is extremely important, especially for the Democratic side, where more and more Democrats have been voting by mail. And I think the president doesn't want it because he's worried that too many Democrats will vote. And this is a real problem for democracy. I like to see what you have to see what happens right now.
Yes, and just reading the Washington Post this morning as well, 46 states and DC, it's saying it can't guarantee all ballots will arrive on time as well. Finally, the announcement, Professor, was made this week. Joe Biden's running mate, Kamala Harris. She was a top contender. Why did Biden pick her?
He picked her because she is the one candidate who was in the U.S. Senate and who had also nationwide experience, and she's a woman with a multi-ethnic background, and her issues coincide with Biden's positions, although she's a little bit more to the left than he is. I think she's a great balance for the ticket, and so did Joe Biden. He thought the same thing. That's why he picked her.
She pulled out before the Iowa caucuses. Why do you think she struggled in her campaign?
Well, that's difficult to pinpoint, because people have different reasons for getting galvanized by someone's election. Other times they don't for different reasons. But don't forget, Joe Biden himself lost at least 2 elections or attempts to the presidency, and now he's the candidate. He became vice president and he became the candidate this 3rd time. So this could happen to Senator Kamala Harris as well. And it should be interesting to watch this and track it very closely. This is an unprecedented election, very historical election.
Yeah, well said. Kamala Harris also being known for her aggressive questioning behaviour, and the latest press conference just literally a couple of hours ago where President Donald Trump mentioned Harris treated Biden worse than anyone during the debate. Let's take a listen.
She treated Joe Biden worse than anybody else. I watched those debates. They were very boring, but they were debates nevertheless. And I watched, pretty good parts of them. And she treated Biden worse than anybody else by far. There was nobody, including Pocahontas, nobody treated Biden so badly as Kamala.
Well, let me ask you this then. Do you have an issue with a strong woman of color being in this presidential race?
None whatsoever.
You don't see her as a threat?
As you know, none whatsoever. No, not at all.
Professor, what's your take on that?
Well, I think he's trying to weaken her any way he can, and it's going to be very difficult. And I do believe that was part of the campaign. It was a debate. As she said, this was a debate, and all the hands, gloves are off in the debate. And it was a very legitimate issue that she raised about the school busing issue back then when people like Biden, now the more conservative Democrats, were against busing, and so were the Republicans. But she raised the issue. That's a debate point, a legitimate issue. And Biden was able to recover from that and to basically overlook it when he's looking for a very strong candidate. I think it shows something about Biden's character. He could forgive and forget those little those little setbacks, unlike President Trump, who holds every single little thing as a grudge against people that speak out against him or even mildly criticize him. It's a very interesting reflection of Joe Biden's character.
A study announced in the US this week that the number of COVID-19 cases among children has risen by 40% in the last 2 weeks of July, with concerns these numbers will increase, of course, with more children heading to school. Professor, this is not just a concern for children, but also parents and teachers. How are people preparing?
People are very confused and upset and worried because parents want to make sure their kids are safe first and foremost, and yet some parents want to know what they're going to do about going back to work. And I do believe that the government should support the parents by providing some funding. And Kamala Harris, Senator Harris, the VP nominee, actually came out when she was senator recently and proposed a $2,000 a month fee, or no, $2,000 a month salary for people throughout the United States who are not working and who are working. And that would be a very good universal basic income to help these parents allow their kids to stay home and take care of them and help them have online education. It's extremely important. As you know, as you mentioned, across the U.S. there's been outbreaks of COVID-19, even among children. So you said 40%. Actually, in 1 month, it went up by about 90% in the month of July and August. 90% increase. And there are many school districts across the country that opened up that had to end up closing recently, including in Georgia and Indiana and other states as well. And it'll be a total fiasco and disaster if they do that again across the country without getting this virus under control and bringing the numbers down and getting a vaccine. That's the most important thing.
And some interesting figures this week. The US weekly jobless claims, they actually fell to 963,000, which is the first time below 1 million since mid-March. What is the main reason for this?
Well, the main reason is because people were ordered to go back to work who were not, some of the non-essential workers were allowed to go back, actually, like those who sell clothes and retail businesses, with some safety measures in some states. Other states didn't even require masks. But yeah, that's the reason, because many states opened up and allowed people to go back to work, even non-essential workers. That's why the numbers fell somewhat. But 900,000 per month is huge compared to normal numbers in a non-pandemic season. And if you look at the numbers of unemployed people, the unemployed numbers are still way up there in the millions, and that has to be addressed. That's why income is so important in the form of some kind of government support, job support payments to help people pay their rent and pay their house payments.
And we've got just a very quick answer to this question. Who do you think will get through in the November election? Will it be Biden or Trump?
If I were a betting man, I would say today, if the election were held today, it would definitely be Biden, although you could look at the polling numbers and see nationwide, Biden has about a double digit, about 11% on the average of the polls, advantage nationwide over President Trump. However, state by state, especially in the swing states like Michigan, such as Wisconsin, those states where Hillary Clinton lost basically by less than 1%, in those states, Biden only has about a 4 or 5% point margin over President Trump. And that can be overcome last minute. Many factors can occur, which could throw a bunch of voters on the side of Trump rather than Biden, these swing voters. And that's what we got to really watch. So if I were to pick today, I do believe that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be able to beat President Trump and Vice President Pence if it were today.
All right. Always great to talk to you, Professor Peter Mathews. Thank you so much. Take care.
My pleasure. Thank you. You too.